Sorry for the delay. So we are about to start at 8 o'clock. It's 3 minutes late, although. So due to the technical glitch, uh, but we'll try to serve you the best way. Good evening, everyone. In this chill evening, I am your host, Sudip Maiti, early career designer. Welcome to everyone to my talk show, Classroom to Boardroom, episode number 5. We have gathered here to enlighten you about the different ways by which the transition from classroom to boardroom can easily happen. We will discuss about the hurdles and challenges that come along the way. Take charge of your career and also listen to the different eminent person who have excelled in their own field. Today, we have invited one of the industry's top-notch leader who has more than 2 decades of experience in IT industry. Currently, he is performing a role of MD and CEO. He is an entrepreneur. Let me welcome Mr. Omkar Nakade in this talk show. So, Omkar, welcome to the show. Can you briefly tell to my audience about your journey and how you have started and where you have reached so far? How you have started? Yeah.
Thank you, Sudeep. Thank you, and a very good evening to all the viewers. And I appreciate coming down on a Sunday evening to listen to Sudeep and me. Thank you so much. So, your question, Sudeep, we started this journey based on personal experience. I was in IT. I did my engineering. I worked in Bombay. I worked in US for some time, and there was a personal experience where my mother had cancer, and parents were visiting us in the US, and um, she had metastasis in liver. Um, and we thought the treatment would be done in US itself. Uh, but my mother wanted to come back home to Nagpur, to her hometown. So we got involved in the treatment, me and my brother, and we have seen how the medical and technology has been used in healthcare in Western countries, specifically in US, and what was there in a tier two city like in Nagpur, technology penetration in healthcare. So that triggered us to do certain things. And we being from IT tech industry, we wanted to address that issue. Fortunately, we were helped by a lot of clinicians, doctors, surgeons during our journey. But everything was a first experience, how healthcare can be improved using technology. So that's how the journey started back in 2008, 2009, 2010.
Great journey, Omkar. So, yep, thanks. Nice experience. Yeah. So, let me ask you some quick questions. Yeah, what might be helpful for my audience. Uh, as you told, so you were in US and you were working with the healthcare industry, and from there you move into this particular the domain, and you have built your own brand in the market. Okay, just ask you the questions. What have you enjoyed most about the starting your own company?
Starting your own entrepreneurship and starting your own company is a totally different experience. And this has been really an exhilarating experience. It has its own challenges as well. When you are in a job, you are only required to do so much in your deliverables. then you are as an entrepreneur, you need to look after your employees, look after your clients, balance the budget, understand the HR issues, uh, look after the competition, how it's coming up, what is your differential advantage. So all these aspects are very important, and each and every aspect is um, it's a totally different use case. It needs to be given proper attention. So it gave me a very different experience. I'm I'm pretty sure in my 11 years of journey, one thing is something that I've learned so much being an entrepreneur is how to execute things. What are the important things in running a business? And I would share a couple of things that any person who jumps in this type of entrepreneurship doesn't want to go back to doing a 9 to 5 job. I'm pretty sure about that. So it's something which is
Absolutely.
very addicting. It's a different enthusiasm, different kind of experience. It's really different.
Great, great. Yeah. So my next questions might be to you. So it's really I know that. So it's 9 to 5. Yeah, how it's painful, and from there that journey you start your own entrepreneurship and you have already built up. Yeah. So my third questions to you that how long did it take for you to find your success?
Oh, I mean, we haven't found our success yet, the real success. So you need to find small successes, small positive things to reinforce, keep your motivation up, to keep going. Um, there would be a lot of challenges. I mean, there would be a lot of things, but um, uh, you need to find different source of inspiration, motivation in terms of uh, my first client, first satisfied client, my employee working in his third year, fourth year, fifth year, 10th year. These are something that gives a lot of satisfaction. Our software being used and to certain extent praised by the end user, how their life has improved, or what the software has transformed them, how they are able to improve their productivity. These are certain things. So I distinctly remember in 2013, before my second child was born, we had our first client pay us. So, getting paid for your work was a different milestone. Our first paid client. We did a lot of trials before that, but getting paid for your work as an entrepreneur was something different. Then, seeing your software being used for generating prescription, discharge summaries is again a different experience. Um, Using a lot of people use our mobile app, patient app. That is also something which is very um, inspiring for me, that people are using the mobile app. They are finding it useful. A lot of healthcare data is there in their mobile app, in their pocket, clinical data. So we need to find a lot of positive things to keep pushing things.
Okay. Yeah. That's great, great, Omkar. So yeah, you have so far, I believe, from the 2013 to till the 2022. Now it's running. So what is your next goal? What is your next year? This year you are going to achieve as an entrepreneur for your organization.
So this year we are going to expand our geography a little bit. We are already in Pan India. We are in certain areas like northeast, north side, western part of India. We have to go in southern India. That is one area. International market is something that we have been doing for the past 1.5 years. We have our US operations started. Um, our Middle East operation started. So this year it's going to be expansion into new geographies. We are targeting South Africa, Brazil, um, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, neighboring countries, and Malaysia. On the product front, we are trying more into AI, machine learning, deep learning. A lot of things can be done through these things. A lot of appification, home care, preventive care is coming up. These are things which are big. So we have a new product line to address these things. So there are a lot of things which are going up product wise. I'm really really thrilled to share. We are doing a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, adding those things into our portfolio. We have a couple of IoT devices also for remote monitoring. During COVID time, we had a IoT device that goes on on the index finger and gives you oxygen saturation level, heart rate, and temperature to the treating doctor. So a
Yeah.
lot of positive things.
Great, great. Yeah. So yeah. So this COVID situation. So healthcare is. I know that it's really booming industry as compared to the other industry. If you think about. Yeah. So my next question is to you that how have you prioritized uh, yourself to to start your day? So there is a lot of work. I know that when you are performing a role of the CEO and MD for the as an entrepreneur for your own organizations, lot of work is there in your plate. How do you the prioritize your work for that particular day? So
So that is a very important aspect for any entrepreneur. There would be 100 different things on your plate, right from mopping the floor to addressing the clients and strategically making tie-ups and all those things. So usually what I do is I usually mark down the list of things. The day starts by uh, identifying what needs to be done in the next 2 or 3 days. I write it down. There's a yellow check mark, and it's always visible to me on my desk. And you need to have a good team, so you cannot do a lot of things on your own. Uh, we need a very strong team to delegate certain things and get it executed. So things which can be delegated can be addressed and delegated, and uh, strong team would get it executed properly. There are certain things that you need to do, and you drop a lot of other things. So saying no to a lot of things is very key. Uh, Once you have noted down, you have uh, 5 items in your list, you need to stick to them unless there's a blood or fire something to
correct.
be addressed. um, you don't change your priority. You need to get those things done and then move on to the next one.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is most important things for it's not only for the entrepreneur, for anyone else, I would say. So prioritize your task in a day. So that is most important things. You can't finish it off each and every task in a day. So you should prioritize your work. Which one is the priority one? You should complete those tasks first. It should not be the huge task, maximum the 3 to 5, what Omkar told. So you should look into those 5 tasks first, then you move forward to the next level of the task. Yeah, thank you. So moving into this next, knowing what you know now, is there anything you have done differently when you were in your first starting out?
Oh yes, I mean there would be a lot of things which we could have done. I mean, you always have a being a startup, you always have a cash crunch. You say no to certain things, which would take very aggressive strategies. There would be other constraints, but a strong foundation is very important. So initially, first 2 3 years, you need to go slow. You need to take your time. get the footing right. If you're too aggressive in moving too fast in the initial time, it would reflect on the quality. So
Correct.
that is something that I believe at some point of time we could have pivoted a little more to be more aggressive. But we are to certain aspect we are satisfied overall that we had a strong footing. The quality didn't drop. We didn't allow our quality to drop in order to scale more aggressively. There would be a lot of things to look back, but overall, there would be certain things that could have been done in a more aggressive way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll ask my audience. So if you have any specific questions, so you can just drop a message, chat with me. So I'll ask to the the guest so that you can clarify your query also. So yeah, so it's really a great journey. So how you have decided so where to establish your company? Why is there any specific reason? So you have established the company at Nagpur. If I ask you,
So, very interesting question. So, I would
yeah,
love to answer that because I worked in Bombay, I worked in Western countries, I was in US for 10 years, I did my master's there. But
yeah,
we always, so I grew up in Nagpur, and that's where there's a strong affinity for us. And we, when the, as I said, the real reason was more emotional, more. It was not any strategic, or this was something healthcare is making good money, or this is something that we need to do. We thought of addressing a problem in tier two cities, and that's why we wanted to be as close as possible. And since we grew up and we wanted to be closer to our family, parents, we started the journey in Nagpur. I have a strong belief that uh, location doesn't matter. Wherever you start your journey, wherever you want to become an entrepreneur, it can be in Silicon Valley, it can be in Bangalore, it can be Delhi, it can be Nagpur, it can be Bhopal, anywhere. Uh, you just need a will to get the things done, and that would happen. I'm of a strong believer that any product, if magnet product needs to be built in Silicon Valley, why not in Nagpur? We can still do it. It might take a little longer, it might take a few extra steps, but it can be done. I mean, there's nothing that cannot be done in remotest places as well. So yeah, and that's how we grew up in Nagpur. That's why we started operations in Nagpur. We do have branches in Delhi. We do have branches in US. We have a C corp in state of Delaware. We have an office in Silicon Valley, Bay Area. We have office in Dubai. But we choose to be staying in Nagpur. Um, Obviously, we'll have to travel sometimes to address certain aspects, but the base is Nagpur. I hope that answers the question, Sudeep.
sorry. So I'm back. So due to the network glitch, I was out of the scene. So okay.
No,
So anyhow, yeah. So so you are targeting to the tier two city, and that's the reason. So as per my understanding, what you have told
right.
in the last
Yes,
question, so that's the reason you have established your company at Nagpur. Yeah.
correct.
So I'm just asking you just another things. What is the unique about your business when you being a entrepreneurship way when you try to establish this company? So what do you feel that there should be some kind of the uniqueness in your business and what kind of the value you can create for your client, correct? So if you can tell us about your business, what is the uniqueness? So
Sure.
that would be really helpful.
So two, three aspects which stands out. I believe that the differentiators and which makes us stand out compared to our competitor is one thing is we have an end-to-end solution for healthcare ecosystem, right from patients to doctors to nurses to accountants in a hospital to HR person in a hospital to uh, janitor or housekeeping, everything. So I'll give you an example. In one of the hospitals, a 200-bed hospital, we replaced five different softwares with one magnet. So it the end-to-end solution, the individual value of an integrated solution is far more than the summation of individual sums of multiple softwares. So I'll give you an example. Uh, if there's a doctor who is requesting investigations, so it should go to the pathology. Once the pathology reports are done, those reports should be reflected to the doctor. Similarly, with the pharmacy, all these things the biller is doing, the finances, the trial balance should be updated automatically. So, if these things are not happening, integrated, there would be a lot of redundancy, lot of error might creep in because of redundancy and all those things. Man hours are wasted. So one thing that I would like to definitely say, it's a more integrated solution, more comprehensive solution compared to others. Second is the technology stack that we are using is more advanced. We are the kind of enterprise solution that we are providing. Um, we have the latest technology stack which is there, because any enterprise level product you would understand has a shelf life, and the new technologies that come up, and it becomes very difficult. It's when I was in IBM Global Services, we used to call IBM as an elephant that cannot dance. So it was not agile to adapt to technology changes. So we are very agile in terms of our churnout, in terms of adaptation to newer technology. A lot of things, technology landscape is moving towards handle devices, apps, and all those things. So we are already having those things for patients, for doctors, for phlebotomists. So second aspect is our technology stack, which is very good. And the third thing is the kind of passion that the team has. I mean, we are blessed to have a very strong team who have been working with us for a number of years, and they are expert. I mean, uh, the kind of clinical knowledge, the kind of oncology understanding, the kind of finance understanding of our team, the kind of HR understanding. So a lot of this is something which is very esoteric, very abstract in terms of domain understanding. Uh, Understanding cardiology is something which is cannot be understood by a normal physician. A medical oncologist would be able to answer a lot of questions in terms of oncology. A lot of other doctors might not be, other specialties might not be able to address those. So we have built a lot of expertise in house to understand the domain. So that is the third distinguishing factor. And we know what to do in our product graph, product portfolio, and we say no to a lot of things. So saying the ability to say no to anything which is not in line with our focus area is also something which is very important for us as a team.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Great. So, next questions to you, Omkar. So, while you have started your organizations, definitely, so you as an entrepreneur, you can't do everything correct. How you find out your first employee in your organizations? And is there any specific way you choose that particular person for your organizations, or what kind of the skills you have looking for, and that way you have select that person?
So, as your organization grows, there are different requirement. Your requirement changes when you are a two-person organization, a five-person organization, a 50-person organization, a 500-person organization. Things would differ in terms of your priorities. What is required. So our first, me and Siddharth, when we started, our first association was Avinash Kaile, who is our administrator. He was a first employee. He's a kind of a extended family member. Trust was a very important aspect, and um, that was something that we wanted to have when we initially started. Um, Other skill set was the sense of ownership. I look for when I'm hiring right now, if people have a sense of ownership, do they align themselves with the vision that we have? Do they really think what we think? This is true for senior level people. They need to align themselves with what the vision of the company is, what we are thinking, what we are trying to achieve. Improve healthcare overall through technology is something that is very important. Um, uh, Analytical skills, picking up certain things at a fast pace is also very important. Uh, so, a couple of things which are very high on my chart are aligning with the company vision, ownership, sense of ownership, and how quickly things can be picked up, how well a person would be able to pick up something which is not his core domain. If we throw something new at him, is he able to adapt? So, having first grade in pass out or only computer science or medical students doesn't matter. People should have a right attitude, sense of ownership, and anything which is given as a challenge, people should be able to adapt things, pick up things very fast.
Absolutely, absolutely, Omkar. So that's the main important things what I have also observed in the industry for my journey so far in the 21 years. I have also seen that. So most of the organization they recruit the people, how how they perform, what best they can do for the organization, whether they're aligned with the company's vision and mission statement correct way or not. If there is no alignment, so definitely so you can't serve in a better way for that organization. It's
And to
irrespective of
certain,
the, yeah. Go ahead.
so I would like to add, and that's the job of the management also to make them realize what is our vision, why we are doing what we are doing. That is our job as well, and to make them understand and pick the baton and run with that is also something that needs to be done.
That's true. That's true.
And we cannot
Management
do
has to guide it
we
correct.
cannot do each and everything on our own. So we need good team members, strong team members, stronger team members than your own self. So one of our co-founders, Amit Jain, always says that uh, pick the team which is stronger, brighter, smarter than you yourself. So the average goes up all the time. Any new recruit, the average goes up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's correct. So my next query to you, Mr. Omkar. So the thing is that, so you know that when you will start the entrepreneurship, so you need to find out the funding, correct? So how do you find your the funding for your own journey, and how you have resolved that particular, that is really a challenge for the each and every entrepreneur. And so if you can give some light on that particular point, it will
Right.
give some kind of the advantage to the people those who are really want to start their journey as an entrepreneur.
So, very important aspect. This is something that every startup would face in their journey. Funding is very important. Your expenses would always be more than your revenue if you are very aggressive in growing the company. You can sustain the company by keeping your expenses to a minimum. Um, there's a very easy way of doing that, sustenance. But if you want to move fast, go aggressive, you need to pump in money and take a leap of faith. uh, if you believe in certain aspect, then you believe that yes, if I put x amount, I'm going to make that 2x in some amount of time, or 3x in some amount of time. So that is something which is comes with a lot of experience, your overall bullishness in what you're doing. So most of the time, we when me and Siddharth started, uh, we put a lot of our own money. Um, but we were joined by good co-founders, we would say partners, Ahmed, Nitin, Bosky. These are co-founders, and we were having a like-mindedness in terms of our objectives, and we pitched in collectively. We pitched in money. So. Uh, that was how we raised money, and over a period of time, we believe the business should generate a lot of revenue, and till date we are not taking out, the founders are not taking out any money. We are putting it back, and so that it can grow faster, even faster.
That is the most important things, and lot of entrepreneurs do the mistake there itself. So yeah, so you can earn some of the revenue, so as long as you will be alive. So you
Right.
invest that particular money to your, again, the in your business, so it will be give you the result, not immediate, might be the after some time it will give you the return back to you.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
absolutely, absolutely. So, just another quick things I thought of asking you: what kind of the strategy do you first use to market your business? Is there any strategy have you defined for that initially when you use that? Yeah,
So, strategy wise, our initial, so we were new in entrepreneurship and running a business. So, there was a lot of learning when we did this, when we started. So, initially, few years, it was word of mouth. Everything was word of mouth. You need to do a good job in one project, and probably people would recommend, or there would be a benchmark, and the word would flow. That was something that we believed in. But in changing time and digital marketing, you need to spread the word even faster to into the market. So that was something that at a later point of time we started uh, doing some marketing, repositioning of brand. We had a uh, redone on the website, the brochures, the kind of handouts that we want to share with the client or stakeholders, the apps, the messaging that went along with those things, the brand positioning of Magnet, our product, was very important. So we hired a specialist to do these kind of things. Um, Repositioning of brand and digital marketing, and overall standardizing of how the messaging goes out, consistent, the brand image and all those things. So initially, again, long story short, we relied on word of mouth, and that did serve well for some time. And we wanted to be a more aggressive thing in terms of marketing. So we hired specialists to help us out in getting the word out.
correct, correct. Yeah. So, my next query to you: what are you working on now in the current moment? I believe so. This is the point we have discussed. So, your this year resolution is that so you want to expand your business in the some of the area like a South Africa as well as the Brazil and all those area, and that is your target point. On top of that, so some part of the India also you want to expand your business. Am I correct?
Correct, correct. So right now we are working on a couple of things. Uh, it should work as a machinery. So we have a product, we have an enterprise level product which is there. Our strategy for next 2 years or 3 years would be uh, sell and execute, sell and execute, sell and implement without compromising on the quality, obviously. So these are the only things that would be more important for us in order to expand our reach. Uh, Software products are such that it's very scalable. It can there's the only raw material is the human raw material or manpower that is required. So if you have a strong team, it can be scaled very easily. So bringing our team, if you have a team of 500, moving from 100 to 500 also takes a task. How quickly can you ramp up in terms of your team, in terms of addressing different geographies, different markets? That is something that we are doing. Um, and the next 2 to 3 years would be only sell and implementation
Absolutely.
without compromising on the quality.
Great, great. My next questions to you, what I feel that so for your organizations, do you only require the engineers or the any kind of the graduate you are looking for? What kind of the qualification you are looking for?
So there's no such qualification that we don't want to
Okay.
have any um, hindrance in terms of any person we are recruiting. Uh, we are open to commerce graduate, graduate, people from mass communication, because the kind of work that we do is we require three distinct skills. One is domain understanding. Healthcare domain is something which is very abstract, very esoteric in nature. Second is technology understanding. Um, and the third is soft skills. Um, so the first aspect will have to impart on our own. So we have a program where a lot of domain knowledge needs to be imparted. Learning curve is there for new team member. Technology, if there's some aspect of technology already addressed, some background, that definitely helps. And soft skills is something that we need to grow. Coming from a central India region, soft skills, etiquettes, professionalism is not up to the mark, and we are talking about international standards. So that aspect needs to be addressed also internally. So these are the things that we are trying to address, make it more scalable. How fast can we scale?
Got it. Got it. So, are you looking for the freshers people, or are you looking for the mostly the experienced one for your organization in terms of the those who are really want to serve you?
So, having this journey for past 11 years uh, told me something that cost is something that needs to be addressed at what expense. And organization, any typical organization is like a pyramid. It would be um, there would be mid tier and there would be bottom of the pyramid, which would be a lot of youngsters, lot of freshers, which would be required. Middle tier is very crucial for us um, um, in terms of having people experience from anywhere between 3 years to 10 years. Um, and those would be the one who would be continuously in touch with the bottom of the tier, the freshers, the newer joinees. So it would be a combination of both freshers and experienced people that we look for. Um, uh, we have a training program inbuilt into our system. Um, Even for next year, we would prefer something who's having some domain understanding. Domain is very, it takes months to bring particular person up to speed. So that is also one of the very important challenges that we are addressing right now. How to reduce
Got it.
that time.
Got it. Got it. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So my next query to you, Mr. Omkar. So how did you establish the culture in your organizations?
The culture starts at the very top. That is something which uh, is something that is very important. I mean, it has to start at the top. It usually starts at the top. If there's any change, so when I was working in Mercedes Daimler Chrysler, I know a German CEO came on board, Jürgen Schramm, and with his coming on board within 6 months, there was a lot of turning around, lot of things, lot of positive things happened. After 9 consecutive quarters of loss, uh, we made profits uh, within 6 months of Mr. Jogan coming on board. So culture, the environment starts at the top. We feel different as employees. I do understand. Um, so we have certain core values. We are very sincere. We believe we do work very sincerely. Um, we have integrity. We have compassion. We have eager for excellence. So these are the core values that we strive for, and we try to inculcate those things in our team members. And
Okay.
a
Okay.
lot of things goes by you yourself have to demonstrate those qualities in order for your team to follow.
Okay. Another just quick things I thought of asking you. So you have given your company's name as a Oakland System. Is there any specific reason you are giving this particular name, Oakland?
Oakland Systems. I am an alumni of Oakland University, which is in Michigan, US. I did my MBA from there. Siddharth, my brother, also did his masters from there, Oakland University, and Siddharth's wife, Harsha, also did her masters from there. So we have a lot of alumni from Oakland University, and that was something we wanted to dedicate to our university.
So I think that it's like a family bonding kind of the things you want to bring to here in your entrepreneurship journey. So with this
Maybe,
particular name, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. So just another things what I feel that so what do you feel? So what are the qualities one good entrepreneur should have?
Um, for all the freshers or all the would-be entrepreneurs, I would definitely say one aspect is you need to be relentless. You need to have the tenacity to uh, take on a lot of failures because without failure, success will not come. And in entrepreneur journey, there would be a lot of challenges. A lot of people would be saying the product is not good. Your employees would be frustrated. You'll have to address each and every aspect, cash flow issues, and all those things are there. HR issues, uh, uh, skill set issues would be there. Uh, but one thing as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you need to have a very positive outlook you need to be very bullish about your vision, what you need to do, your targets, what you need to achieve. It might take a little longer. It might You'll have to do a lot of things to address those things, but it can be done. If there's a will, there's a way. I am having a strong belief of that. Uh, there would be competition. There would be a lot of undercutting in your pricing, other things, a lot of challenges. I mean, I can name hundreds of them, but as an entrepreneur, you should always have a positive frame of mind, and you need to be alert as to how market dynamics are changing, and you need to adapt.
You
Adaptability and tenacity are the two aspects you need to always keep in mind to be a successful entrepreneur. My 2 cents on that.
So you told one key things what I would say, so the failure. So we all should fail in our life and we should learn from that failure. And then only you will understand the real happiness of the success. Otherwise, you will not understand the what is the success is all about in your life. And
True,
that
true.
being an entrepreneur, I feel that so each and everything what you are doing today, so I feel that yeah, so you are moving toward your success, or might be that you have achieved whatever you want to do in your life. So so that's the thing. Only last question, so I would ask to you, what are the key message you want to pass to this particular the audience, those who are watching us for the quite long time? We're discussing about your entrepreneurship journey. What are the key message or advice you thought of giving to them who is trying to become an entrepreneur?
It's a very important thing. So, very interesting question, Sudeep. This is something that I would like to share, and it comes from my heart that anyone who wants to become an entrepreneur, go for it. You don't have to wait. Oh, I'm going to save 5 lakh rupees and 10 lakh rupees. I want to achieve this thing, and then I'll jump into entrepreneurship. Don't wait for that time. Jump in the water. You would know how to swim. You are born with that skill to swim. Take the leap of faith, jump, and do it now. That is something that I would always encourage. And there would be challenges. I mean, the challenges would always be there, but you would know how to address them. Take a leap of faith and jump into it. There's nothing exhilarating than being an entrepreneurship. I mean, as I told you earlier, also, I have seen very limited amount of people who started doing something on their own. They failed and they want to go back to 9 to 5 job. They want to do something on their own. Even if they fail, they want to try something else. So it's something that is a different experience. Your things are in your control, so it's a
Absolutely.
different.
Yeah. So you are the architect of your life, so which way you can build up your things, so that way the everything will be the output, whatever the things you want to see. So thank you, Omkar, for your time for this particular talk show. So anyone have any query or anything, those who are watching for the quite long time, I would say thanks to everyone. So if you have any query or anything, you can post it here. My name is Sudip Maite. I'm an early career designer where I want to help to the 1 million youth to build their personal as well as the professional growth. And every Sunday, I'm doing this kind of the talk show where I'm bringing all the industry's top notch as well as the leaders. So I want to help to the peoples, and that's the reason we are here. And thank you, Omkar, for your time, valuable time. Okay. Good night to
Thank you,
everyone.
Sudeep.
Yeah,
Thank
close
you.
the
Thank
show here.
you.
Bye.
Good night, all.